Or are we?
Alrighty. Welcome. I'm Joanna Hildreth with the Catoosa County Republican Party's Candidate Interview Committee. I'll take a minute for the other members to introduce themselves.
Denise Burns.
Diana Jost.
Thank you for taking the time out of your campaign to participate in this interview process. We've extended this invitation to all candidates in this race for the purpose of aiding the voters in making their decisions. This video will appear on the Catoosa County Republican Party website. While we do everything to prevent anyone from obtaining the video without proper request or use, we cannot guarantee that the video will not be obtained by others regardless of our best attempts to secure it. The interview will be shown in its entirety. For the interview, we will be asking around 9 questions, but can offer no prompting. There are no right or wrong answers, only your answers. We ask each candidate the same questions. Please introduce yourself and state the position you're running for.
My name is Mike Key, and I'm running for Catoosa County Tax Commissioner.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and get started with the questions.
All right.
Why are you running as a Republican, and what does being a Republican mean to you?
I decided to run as a Republican because the Republican Party depicts a lot of the same beliefs that I believe, the conservative views. I appreciate what the Republican Party has done and what they stand for, and I just have a lot of the same convictions, so that's why I decided to run Republican.
How would you describe the role of tax commissioner in county government?
The role of tax commissioner, it's complicated. It's very serious. There are several offices that come together, and it's a collaboration to make the office operate properly. Is there a way we can start this one more time? I just got out of breath. I need to take a break. Just for a second.
We have to have an unedited version of this, and people did not see the questions ahead of time.
Right.
So
Well, I've got the answer to the question. I just got out of breath.
we can take a minute. Do you want to step away for a minute?
If
We'll
I
just have
could.
to let it run,
Okay.
without stopping it.
Really? Okay.
I can think of to do right now.
I just walked in from outside, and I drove back from Cedartown. So
I understand. That makes it
yeah,
hard.
it's been a long day. Okay, but I can start back.
Okay.
The Office of the Tax Commissioner is a collaboration of several offices that come together to make the Tax Commissioner's office work properly. You have the Clerk of Superior Court's office, where the deeds are recorded when you purchase property. The deeds are recorded there, and the tax bills go out the way the deeds recorded January 1st of that taxable year. Then the clerk's office transfers that information over to the Board of Assessors' office, where they put the values on the property. You're taxed on 40% of the full fair market value. And that 40% is referred to as the assessed value. Then the County Commissioner's Office, the cities of Ringgold and cities of Fort Oglethorpe, and the Board of Education. Thank you, that helps so much. I really appreciate that. But as I was saying, the county governing authorities, the cities of Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, Board of Education, and the County Commissioner's Office all come up with their operating budget for the year. And with that operating budget, that contributes to their part of the millage rate, or the tax rate, from what the tax commissioners tax it on. So you take the millage rate from those governing authorities by the 40% of assessed value, calculate the bills, and then send the bills out to the taxpayers. As you receive that revenue, then you turn around and disperse it back out to the governing authorities so they can operate for the year. The tax commissioner is also responsible for signing up for your homestead exemptions. That's a tax break for Georgia homeowners. If you live in your home as your primary residence and own it, the deed's recorded in your name, you'll qualify for a standard homestead exemption. There's also exemptions for those people over the age of 62, 65, and 75. Some of them are based on income, some are not. There's other exemptions you could qualify for, like if you're 100% VA-related disabled veteran, there's another exemption for that. Just bring in your VA paperwork and they can make sure you're signed up for that. If you're not sure that you're signed up for everything you need to, if you go in the office for any other reason, such as when it's your birthday and it's time to sign up for or get your auto tags, you just walk across to the property tax department and check and make sure that you are signed up for everything that you need to be signed up for. But as I just mentioned, the tax commissioner also takes care of all the motor vehicle, the auto tags, the ad valorem tax on your vehicles, the new sales tax that took the place of the ad valorem, also title work, of that nature. One thing that's not the most pleasant part of the tax commissioner's position is even if you're not able to pay your taxes, it still has to be collected somehow. So there is a levy process that the tax commissioner is in charge of. So that's not pleasant. And it's very difficult, and you have to know when you take the position that when you're working with somebody's money, you're also, dealing with their lives, their family, their homes, their credit. So it's very serious and should be taken that way.
How would you describe the impact of the tax commissioner on the average citizen?
It's huge. Like I just said, you can when you're dealing with people's money, not only in the aspect of the person. Say a situation comes up, as I said, tax bills go out the way the deed's recorded on January 1st of that taxable year. If you sell property, say if you sold property October of last year, and the tax bill goes out in your name, in the previous owner's name, and then it's decided at closing who's going to pay it, the new owner, whoever owns the property, is usually one responsible, but it would be decided at closing, so that could be taken out at closing. And so that tax bill is going to come out in the previous owner's name, but the new owner would be responsible for the bill. So you have to look at that. And so if it's not getting paid, it can go against the previous owner's credit, like that. So you have to be able to take the initiative to check with the clerk's office where those deeds are recorded. It's huge. It's a big responsibility to be able to go back and make sure that everything's done properly and make sure that people's lives are affected in a positive way.
Do you believe education and experience play a role in being Catoosa County Tax Commissioner? Why or why not?
I think it's a huge thing. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, not only can you mess up somebody's credit, as I just mentioned, but if you go in there not knowing what you're doing, you can make some honest mistakes and end up in prison yourself, honestly. So it's huge to know what you're doing. And I did work in the tax commissioner's office. I worked there for 10 years, and I'm serving now as the vice chairman of the Catoosa County Board of Tax Assessors. So I'm well trained and know how to handle the office. So I would be excited to take that position and be able to serve the county.
If you're elected, do you plan on making any changes in your new role as tax commissioner? If so, please be specific about those changes.
Yes. If I'm elected, one thing that I think would be huge would be cross-training the employees. That way they could help support each other. Like the property tax department, sometimes, certain times of the year, they may be slower than other times. So I think it would be important to cross-train them when they're slower to be able to help support the motor vehicle department. Because if they get lined up in the motor vehicle department, instead of being able to, having to sit there and say, I'm sorry, they'll be with you in a moment, you can, have another computer set up over here where you can say, if you have a renewal, I can help you over here, and that would be great. And then while they're there, they can also check their homestead exemptions and things of that nature. But I think cross-training would be important. Updating that computer system. I think it'd also be good to have a greater presence on social media, to have a tax commissioner's page, because I'm not sure when you're watching this video, but April 1st coming up is the deadline to be signing up for your homestead exemption for that year. So if you're on social media, Facebook or whatever, you can post out there, don't forget April 1st, and anybody that likes that page is going to show up in their news feed. That would be great help also. So those are two things. There are a couple of more things, but those are two things that I think would be the biggest that I would change starting off.
How does being a Republican shape your vision as tax commissioner?
Being a Republican shaped my vision as, read it one more time, make sure I understand
How
it right.
does being a Republican shape your vision as tax commissioner?
The conservative views of the Republican Party are, they're important as far as that goes. As far as being a tax commissioner, I think it's important to hold those conservative views in the forefront. Wow. I mean, as far as, knowing that the tax commissioner is the collector, they don't have any say in how the money's spent once it's spent. If I did have a way in how the money was spent, it would have a greater role, but our hands are kind of tied as far as that goes. So the one thing about it, you want to make sure that it's collected with integrity, honesty, and handled properly. And the views that the Republican Party stand for, I think, would be great as far as making sure that the money is handled properly before it gets to where it's going.
As a potential Republican official in our community, how would you help the Catoosa County Republican Party grow and spread its influence?
Well, one way would be through the social media, and you guys are utilizing that very well already. But to expand it also, but yeah, I think the Republican Party has been great for the county, and anything that I could do to help spread the word and the beliefs of the Republican Party, that I think that would be great.
What makes you the best candidate in the Republican field?
My experience, I would say. Working in the office for as many years as I did, almost 10 years, and then also being on the Board of Tax Assessors, the county has sent me to training with the Georgia Department of Revenue on several occasions, week-long classes on not only from the aspect of, excuse me just a moment, get this a little more. Not only from the aspect of the tax commissioner's office, but being on the Board of Assessors and seeing the role that they play also, I've got a twofold view of what's taken place. So not only do you have the homestead exemptions that you can qualify for, if you have 10 or more acres, there are covenants that you can sign up for in the assessor's office, and we could point people in that direction. Also, there's farm use covenants. There are different things that you can sign up for to help reduce your tax bill, and it'd be very helpful. So I think my experience and knowledge and training would put me as the best candidate for Catoosa County Tax Commissioner.
Who is your favorite Republican from the past or present?
Favorite Republican?
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Reagan.
Well, this concludes our interview.
Okay.
Thank you very much
Well,
for
thank you.
taking the time to participate in this interview process.
And I apologize for my pause there and catching my breath, but thank you for allowing me to do this.